everyone, thanks for joining today's Microsoft Virtual Academy, where we'll be helping you to get to know your Windows device. I'm not alone in studio. With me is Renee Moodley. Renee, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us a bit about your role at Microsoft?
Thanks, Megan. Yes, I'm the Education Device Lead at Microsoft, and my role entails helping customers in terms of looking at the correct type of device for education. As you know, there's a lot of devices that's out there in the world, and it creates a lot of confusion, especially with what is the right type of device for education. And that could be from screen size to different type of form factors. But in today's case, I would like to demonstrate of how to use or navigate through a laptop that you might have received.
Fantastic, Renee. So you're just the right guy to have in studio because being a device specialist, you will know all about how to get the most out of your Windows device.
Yes, that's correct.
So let's begin by showing a Windows device and giving us a quick tour of what's involved in that device.
Okay, that's good. Today we have a laptop, and I would like to walk you through in terms of how to use a laptop, how to open it up, how to switch it on, as well as also taking care of the device and making sure that you are making use of all of the ports that's on the device itself to help you making it easier in your day-to-day tasks. So this is a traditional laptop form factor, and when I say traditional laptop, it does this very simple thing of opening up the screen from the top. And with that, you have a good view in terms of being able to use the device with the keyboard. Some of the things that you might be familiar with or might not be familiar with is the ports that's currently on the device. You have your USB port, and these are allowed to attach your peripherals. And peripherals like your USB stick, or as well as a mouse, or even a keyboard that you want to attach externally. Another important point of the device is the battery. So as an example, let's say your machine for some reason freezes and you want to remove the battery. It's very simple by opening up these two clips in the bottom and popping it out, and you are able to now remove the battery. Or with a simple 2 clicks, it's able to slot back in, and now you've got a full functional machine with a charged battery.
So Renee, speaking of the battery, it looks to me like that battery bulges out of the bottom of the laptop a bit.
Yes, so that's correct. This is an extended battery which will give you much more battery hours in your day-to-day tasks. So this battery should last quite a significant more hours in terms of it depending on how you use it as well. So I cannot say it's going to last for 8 hours or 12 hours. It all depends on how you functionally use the device.
But for a teacher who perhaps doesn't have many PowerPoints in her classroom, that would work well. Or perhaps if a teacher wants to plug a laptop into a data projector, but doesn't want a power cable, that kids might trip over, then it would be good to use the laptop off the battery.
That's correct. So what we would like is that when you are, as a teacher, using the device in the classroom, is that you charge your device up overnight, and when you come into the classroom the next day, you're using the device without any cables protruding. A simple thing of this extended battery should possibly give you about between 6 to 8 hours battery life. But also be aware that batteries don't last the complete lifespan of the device, and as you use the device more, it won't give you the same amount of hours.
Okay, so Renee, you were showing us some of the ports down the side of the computer where you could plug in different peripherals.
That's correct.
Where's the port for plugging in a data projector?
And that's quite a nice question. So multiple devices will have different ports in order to plug in for a data projector. So you'll see there's a funny looking type of port that's in the corner with multiple holes in it, and that's the VGA component. And I've got a VGA cable here today, and very simply, it also has like multiple pins in it, whereas this has multiple holes. You're making sure that with the angle of the cable, you're inserting it in the correct position. Now, a lot of people sometimes just plug in the device, the cable into the correct manner, and it doesn't want to fit in. So just by flipping it around and having a look of how the angle is, you're able to plug it in, as simple as that.
Okay.
And one more thing as well is that the VGA cables normally comes with like these screw-on devices This will help, especially when you are presenting and you have kids walking around in the classroom, that they don't trip over it or pull out the cable accidentally. So screwing it in will also help giving it a bit more of a sturdy type of projection.
Okay. You also mentioned a flash drive or a
Yes.
memory stick that can be plugged into one of the USB ports.
Correct.
Can you show us how to do that?
Yes, and we have a USB flash drive right here. And this is a simple, normal flash drive that you can buy from any store. And let's say you want to copy pictures, or you want to copy movies, or you want to copy applications to the students. A simple USB stick can be more than sufficient in order to do so. So if you had to plug in a USB stick, as you can see, it's a rectangular type of shape, and you can plug it in. Now, as you can see, I just made the assumption that by plugging it in this way, it doesn't go in. So do not be forceful, but be firm. So if you had to flip it around, it automatically plugs in.
Okay, and one of two options is going to work,
Yes,
and
yes.
don't force it, but plug it in.
Correct.
We also would be encouraging teachers to use their Office 365 account to store their documents or their photos or their lesson preparation online, because those USB memory sticks, as handy as they are, they do get lost, they get corrupted, whereas if you've got your documents saved in the cloud, you can't lose them like you might lose your little flash drive.
100%. And another thing as well is that these are prone for infections. So with viruses being able to be shared from machine to machine, I would caution you in terms of using flash drives, but using services like the OneDrive access that they have, all of these teachers have access to in terms of safely storing documents and sharing documents. But that comes with internet connectivity. And worst case scenario, if you don't have internet connectivity, you always have the functionality of using a USB cable device.
So Renee, you've shown us how to plug in the data projector, but if a teacher's perhaps playing a YouTube video that they've downloaded at home on their laptop, the speakers that are built into the laptop might not be sufficient for a whole class to hear what's going on. Is there a solution to that?
Yes, and there's multiple solutions to it, but a simple speaker that you can have plug into the device will natively give it more amplification in the classroom. We understand that sometimes the speakers are not loud enough, or the way that it's presenting, it's in a direction towards the teacher more than the classroom itself. So if you had to look out for a speaker that has a simple 3.5mm jack, this is a small port on the opposite side of the device, and by just plugging it in, now you have a full speaker system in the classroom, which will give you a bit more volume, so the rest of the students can listen to it in the back of the class.
Okay, so that's just an inexpensive little speaker,
Correct.
but somebody could buy that at a computer store or could order one online. And that one plugs in with a jack, but you can also get Bluetooth speakers that don't even need a cable.
That's right. So as much as there's a wired solution, there's also wireless solutions that's currently out there. And the example I'll give is with regards to a mouse. So everyone's traditionally familiar with a wired type of mouse, but this is a wireless mouse where it has a small USB dongle, and same with the speaker systems that will come with a dongle that you can plug into the device. And then I'm able to use my mouse and navigate it with no issues. So wireless technologies is available and can help with a wireless type of speaker solution as well.
Okay, and that's also why your laptop has a couple of those USB ports.
Yes.
So if one is used up all the time because you're still a fan of a mouse, you've still got two more ports that can be used for other peripherals or USB sticks that you might want to plug in.
That's correct.
Renee, a person might not have an external mouse. Is there another way of navigating using the laptop?
That's correct. So on the laptop itself is that you have a traditional keyboard where you're able to insert your characters, but this touchpad that's on the device itself allows you to navigate thoroughly across as if you had a full-fledged mouse on your hand. So with a touch system, I'm able to touch and move my icons around, and these buttons act as the clickers on a mouse itself.
Okay, so I must say I'm still quite a fan of a mouse, and maybe that's because I learned how to use a computer still with a desktop computer that didn't have a trackpad. But I must say I use the trackpad on my laptop all the time too. If I'm just doing something quickly and don't want to take out my mouse, or perhaps I'm working in a confined space and don't have much elbow room for the mouse, then the trackpad is there all the time and works well too.
Yeah, so the mouse itself, there's multiple type of devices that's out there. You have the traditional ones, which is wireless or wired, or you have a trackpad. Now, both of them give you the same type of functionality and even a bit more on a touchpad, where I'm able to zoom in or zoom out, or even being able to scroll through documents by just using 2 fingers and scrolling onto the touchpad. So each one has its own benefits, and whichever makes you comfortable in terms of getting used to the device is up to you as a preference choice.
For sure. So Renee, you've shown us the speaker, and of course the laptop also has a built-in speaker. But if somebody is perhaps having a Skype call,
Yes.
or perhaps they want to watch a video, but they're in the staff room perhaps, or they're busy doing their lesson prep whilst children are in the class, and they don't want others to hear the call or to be disturbed by the video. Is there a solution to that?
Most definitely. So if there is a webcam on the device, that will help with the Skype session as well. So all of these laptops, as you can see, there's a small port on the top. Please do not cover it, because this is the webcam that you'll be able to have the Skype calls with. But in terms of having a private Skype call, your simple headphone jacks that you might have received, or your headphones that you might have received with your cell phone, if not, these are available through all of the retail stores out there. And this can be your private type of Skype call, where I'm able to plug it in onto the device, and these headsets that come with your mobile phone also have a microphone in it. So when you are having a call, you can clearly plug it in and hear, but also being able to communicate back based on the microphone that's on the device itself.
Okay, and those ones literally came in the box with a cell phone, but they're not expensive if a teacher wants to buy an extra set of headphones to keep in their laptop bag. That's almost the end of our peripherals, but there's one more. If teachers are using sort of data to access the internet, they can do that. But if they're somewhere that has access to sort of cabled internet, there's a way of plugging in a cable.
Yeah, and not all laptops have it, depending on the type of form factor, but this one specifically has a network port on it. And these are the type of cables that you will see that will be available for you to plug in. And that is a simple click, and it's inserted, and you should be having internet access immediately. So you don't have to be dependent on Wi-Fi as an internet connectivity source, but even having a network cable plugged into the solution, being able to give you the internet that you can use on the device.
Okay, and I know at our offices we do have those network cables, and it tends to work a bit faster. I know that if I'm doing my updates or downloading a lot of files, I quickly plug in the cable, and it tends to work sort of faster than the Wi-Fi.
That's correct, and the reason for that is that it's controlled. So as you can see, it's multiple copper cables that's in this device that gives you a quality of service that you should be experiencing. Whereas the Wi-Fi, unfortunately, dust particles or just sunlight or heat can affect the transmission of Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is good and it's easily accessible from any type of device, and you're not bowed down to a certain area. But the network cable would be a bit more for faster connection as the Wi-Fi technology improves.
Okay, so that's what that port's all about. If you are wondering what it's for on your laptop and you are somewhere that has a network cable, plug it in, and there's quick and easy access to the internet. So Renee's given us a great tour of the outside of the Windows 10 device, but let's see now what the screen looks like when you turn it on. Renee, can you give us a quick tour of some of the basic features of the Windows 10 device, what people will see when they turn it on, and how to find some tools they might need?
Sure, thanks Megan. So yeah, as you can see that I've got my desktop screen in front of me, and now I'm able to search for things or even open up applications. So with my mouse, as you can see, I'm moving it around, I'm able to click on the Start button, which is on the bottom left-hand corner, and this can be changed into fit people's choice by simply clicking on or right-clicking on the taskbar, I'm able to unlock the taskbar and navigate it to the left, up, or to the right. So I'm able to actually make it comfortable and personal as I would like it to see. But for the most part, people would be using it on the bottom bar and locking it in, so that if you do accidentally clicking on things, it doesn't affect what you're trying to do. So the start button on the bottom left-hand side, if I had to click on it and I had to open up a simple application like Excel, I'm able to, with a simple typing of the word Excel and pressing the enter button on the keyboard, I'm able to get a view of my Excel desktop.
So that's really handy. If teachers maybe have used the desktop before or have had another computer before, they'll know apps like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and that's the fastest way to find them, to just type in the search bar and it'll pop up.
And let's say you have, you're not able to navigate or find it, but if you had to click on the start button, the start menu appears, and as you can see, we have a whole bunch of applications that's there. So let's say you might have downloaded an application, but you cannot remember the name of it. By just scrolling through, I'm able to see, we have Paint 3D, and I'm able to open it with a click of a button.
Okay, and we definitely encourage teachers to have a look around, see what came with your device.
Correct.
And try things out. You're not going to break anything, so give it a whirl.
That's it. And the teachers need to remember, the devices are just plastic and metal. The operating system can always be fixed, so you're not breaking anything. You should be learning more and trying to experiment with this. So another function I just wanted to show you that might help the teacher in the classroom, especially if they had to create some content. And I'll give you the example of a volcano. I'm able to look for images of a volcano, and I can open up my search engine with a simple click. As you can see, it was in a full screen mode, but if I click and hold and I bring it to the left-hand side of the window, I'm able to bring it on a side view.
Okay.
And if I had to search for Bing and type in volcano, as you can see, my spelling is wrong, but you can clearly see that it auto-corrected my spelling for me, and which is quite nice and useful in the classroom, especially if you're not, if English is not your first language, or you're not able to understand what you're searching for. The search
as long as you get it close enough, Bing will figure out what you were after.
That's right. So with a simple click, I'm able to find volcanoes, and as you can see, it gives me some options on the top. So I'm able to search for material, or if I would like to see images, I can simply click on images and I can see what's available for me to download. So I like this image quite a lot. I will actually right-click with my mouse and say Save Picture As. I'm able to navigate on this bar, and I'm able to go to Pictures, and I can call it Volcano.
So, I mean, this is really where you see the power of technology. You know, if children are learning about something like volcanoes in geography, it's highly unlikely that they're going to see a volcano in real life.
Correct.
But technology lets teachers find great images and share those with the class, either in a PowerPoint or in a worksheet that they're creating.
Yeah. And a simple, with saving the image, I'm not able, I don't want to keep on going into applications and going out of applications. And what's quite nice is that I have the ability to work side by side. So now I've got my images on my left, but I've got my PowerPoint on my right hand side. And I'm able to insert that picture by simply clicking on the Pictures button and looking for the image that, that you've downloaded, which is the volcano. And I click Insert. Now I'm able to place it anywhere on the document, but a picture is okay, but let's insert some text behind it. And I'll say, call it the volcano project. And this is quite nice, but I'm not too happy with the design of it. But I don't want to spend my time in terms of making it look too much or pretty. Is there a tool that can help me? Most definitely in Office PowerPoint 2016. So on the top ribbon, you will see there's something called Design, and there's a new button that's called Design Ideas. And with a simple click, this gives me options in terms of how to make it look a bit more pretty.
Oh, wow.
And I can make it...
And then can you choose which of those design ideas you like the most?
Yes, most definitely. So you've got an option of multiple selections, and if it's your personal preference. And it is just something that will help you with the formatting that you would like.
And I see it also made the text of the volcano project a little bit bigger, because when you typed it, it would have been quite difficult for a child to see that off the screen, but Design Ideas has helped fix it up.
That's it. And making sure that it's helping with the messaging that you want to lay across.
Okay, so that's great, and it's really handy to be able to work on two screens at the same time, or have two different apps open together.
Correct.
So what else is sort of new and exciting on a Windows 10 device?
Yeah, so as you could see is that you've got two applications, but you could have multiple applications more open. To give you an example, let's say I've got a Word document as well. I'm able to insert this to the bottom right-hand side, and I can keep this on the top left right-hand side. So now I've got three windows or applications open up at the same time, but I can even insert a fourth one. So each quadrant is able to get its own application. There we go. And each quadrant is now able to have its own application. So I can truly multitask on this.
That really looks handy, Renee. And tell me, what about more than one person working on a Word document? So you've got lots of things open there.
Yes.
But are you the only one who can type on a Word document at one time?
No, and that's a good question. So what we have done with regards to Office 365 is that we have the ability to now share documents real time, and that will help with versioning controls. So back in the day when we used to do a document, I used to have a Word document and I should keep my information on it, but I needed somebody to review the document, and I would have copied it onto my USB stick and then given it to the next person. By the time that person passes it on, it lands back with me and I'm on version 6, but it's taken such a long time, and we could have actually done this like immediately with sitting with each other, but I don't have to be in the same place with Office 365. Now I've got the ability, as you can see, I've created a document. It's a blank document, and I'm able to say the world is a small place. How are you doing, Jabo? And as you will see, Jabo is actually typing back on to me on the same document with simple ease. So you can see the different icons representing the different people that are typing it. So I'm acting as Karen Berg today, and then there's my account, Renee Woodley, that somebody else is typing back to me. So you can see that multiple people are editing the same document at the same time, and it doesn't stop at 2. You can have more people coming into this conversation if you'd like. So multiple people can edit this document, and this is using simple technologies of being able to share this on OneDrive and being able to share the document with a few clicks.
So we're just doing a simple example here as a demo, but I'm thinking of schools where perhaps one teacher is setting the test paper and their head of department or their colleague needs to moderate the exam paper.
Yes.
That person could go in and edit on the same document, make the changes that are required, and then none of those version control issues or sort of you're not quite sure who's got the latest version of the document.
Correct, and that's definitely how it's been designed.
And it's definitely in keeping with collaborative education and teachers actually working together, working with their colleagues, working within departments to create sort of great prep, but to save time at the same time.
And just quickly to show you how I've done this sharing of the document, if you had to click on the File tab and say Share, and it's got an icon to share with people, we'll simply click in that. I'm able to type in the person's details, and then in a way it's able to be shared with the colleague that I would like for them to edit. So would it allow for anyone to edit the document? No, it's only for the people that you have allowed access to in order to make those type of edits.
And you can also set it up in such a way that other people can view your document, but they're not allowed to edit it.
That's right.
So as the author of the document, you set up those permissions and give them out accordingly.
Correct.
So Renee, that moves us very nicely onto the next topic, which is all around keeping your Windows device secure and keeping your information secure. It's really nice to have this cloud technology and to be able to share your documents so easily, but teachers might worry about their information falling into the wrong hands. How can this be avoided?
Yeah, so what's quite nice with Windows 10 is that you don't have to go and buy any antivirus applications because it's built in natively to Windows 10. What you would like to do is that you would like to make sure that your device is up to date, and that's very important. And the reason being is that this will help with the new type of threats that's been out there in today's day and age. Before, what used to happen is that people used to spend a lot of time in terms of trying to hack and trying to steal your information. In this day and age, people have become smarter and wiser and know how to do this in a much faster experience in a way. So we need to make sure that we are safeguarding you from these type of threats. And the simple things that you can do on your machine as I navigate you through is even clicking on this arrow which says show hidden icons. And as you can see here, we've got an icon of a shield that says action recommended. And we're just simply clicking this button. I've got a full glance of what's going on with my machine. Is my firewall and network protection up? Is my application, my browser control done sufficiently? Because sometimes people do malicious things of sharing websites with you, right, through your browser, and if you have to click it, it'll take you to malicious sites where they're trying to hack you. So what this does is that it gives you an overview in terms of how your device is performing and if it's up to date and safe.
Okay. And definitely, as we've already mentioned, rather store your documents on the cloud than pass around flash drives that can easily transmit viruses. But if you do have an infected flash drive and you plug it into your laptop, will the antivirus give you a warning?
Yes, so most definitely you will see a pop-up on the right-hand side of the page saying that it's detected that there's a virus, and it will navigate you in terms of removal of the virus. So it'll ask you to, do you want to delete the virus, and then you can click yes.
Okay. So it's really up to the teacher to make sure that they keep their antivirus software up to date. And that does require an internet connection.
That's right.
But it's well worth doing because you don't want your machine to be compromised.
Yeah.
So Renee, we've already talked about the apps that come with the device. Yeah. But if a teacher wants to explore a little bit further, where can they get access to other educational apps that might be appropriate for their learning area or their subject?
So that's a very good question, Megan. In terms of getting access to applications and making sure that you're downloading the right applications and making sure that it's safe, you would like to use the Windows Store. And it's the icon that's in the bottom, which looks like a shopping bag with the Microsoft logo. But let's say it's not attached to the taskbar. It's very simple. If you had to click on that Windows icon again and type in Store, you're able to see the Microsoft Store icon actually appear. And with a simple click, it'll give you a whole bunch of applications that's available for you to download. Now,
and although it's the Windows Store, lots of them are actually free.
Yes, that's correct.
That's the place where you go and look for them.
Correct. So you can see there's a whole bunch of applications and games. Is the stuff relevant for you to teach in the classroom? Maybe, maybe not. But if I would like to look for educational applications, how do I do that? And on the top, you'll see that there's different tabs. And it says Home, Apps, and Games. If I had to click on the Apps button, it'll give me a whole bunch of listed applications that's available. And if I just scroll right to the bottom, you'll see that there's an option for education. And with a simple click, I'm able to see that all of the educational applications that's designed for me. As simple as that. And as you can see, I'm scrolling and then there's tons and tons of applications throughout all the different grades, as well as all of the different subjects that you might be teaching in your classroom that can help you in that space.
And teachers could definitely find, the right one for the subject they're teaching.
Correct.
So some numeracy games for the little ones, something to teach shapes or colours. It's all on there. It's just a matter of browsing around and downloading the one that's right for you.
That's right. That's right.
So Renee, that's a range of great educational apps and where to look for them. But many teachers have learners that perhaps have some learning challenges in their class. And I know that there's some great Windows tools that are already built in that can really help accommodate different learning challenges or perhaps different learning styles. Can you show us a few of those tools?
Yes, most definitely. So if we had to open up the Edge browser, so let's give an example that you would like to present a website like the Volcano website that we used earlier on, and you want this to read out back to the classroom. As you can see, I've just opened up the website on my Edge browser, and with a simple right click, it's got an option to read aloud. And with a simple click, it'll start reading it back to you. And that will help you in the classroom as well. And you can increase the speed and decrease the speed, even change the type of voice that you would like to use in order to adapt to your learning lifestyle. So that's just a simple one that we have available on our browser that is available through most websites. But as an example, if let's say you're working on a Word document and you want to make sure that this also gives you the ability in order to help you in the classroom of your learning difficulties, maybe you're hard of sight or hard of hearing. So as you can see, with regards to the Volcano and using the Edge browser, you're able to have this read aloud type of functionality. But let's say you don't have the availability of the browser and you want to copy this information offline. So with highlighting and a simple right click and say copy, I'm able to use it and paste it in my OneNote application.
And I'm thinking this would be really handy for kids that are perhaps not first language English speakers. If they can hear a voice read it out aloud to them, they'll get the correct pronunciation.
That's right.
Or a child that perhaps sort of has reading challenges, perhaps is dyslexic or doesn't have good eyesight, that read aloud feature would really help.
That's right.
So if a teacher wants to, they can just paste this content into OneNote.
Paste it into OneNote, and I'll show you another functionality that we have in the OneNote called the Immersive Reader, where I'm able to read at my own pace. I'm able to make sure that I've increased in the font or decreased in the font, or even changing the background because maybe the light is a bit too harsh for my liking. So I can change it to different tones. I can even have a read out aloud type of functionality, but it's more encouraged in terms of how do I read in the correct fashion. In OneNote, we have the Immersive Reader, and with my information that's just been pasted from the website and a simple click, I'm able to get it into a view that's more palatable for my liking. So as you can see that I've got Volcano, and it looks like it's a bit more increase in the font size, but I can even make it smaller if I'd like to, or I can make it actually bigger so I can focus in terms of what am I saying. I'm able to change the type of background. I can make it like a blue background, or I can make it yellow, or I can even make it like a faint type of purple that can help me with focusing in terms of what I'm reading. But the best part about this is that I'm able to understand what are nouns, right? And I can have this in a different color, and I can be able to understand what are verbs, and I can have this in the red color. So as you can see, I got one verb, which is jump, and I can understand what are the adjectives.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you get it to read the text aloud?
Yes, most definitely. So with a simple click is that I'm able to have it read it back to me.
Okay.
And I can even decrease the speed, and I can make it into a male voice if I like to.
Okay. Well, that's really handy, particularly for new readers or those who battle with reading.
Yeah.
Are there any other assistive tools on Windows 10, or are those the most important ones for teachers to know about?
So there are other functionalities, like the accessibility functions built into Windows 10. So if I had to go into our control panel, and this could help the teacher in the classroom just get it a bit more focused in terms of how to use the applications. So all I did there was click on the Start button and go into the control panel by typing in control panel, and I'm able to get to this view. And in here, there's a whole bunch of different options, But what I'm looking for is the ease of access tab or ease of access center, and with a simple click,
Always scan this section.
it will give me options in order to make sure that it's helping me or aiding me with using my personal device. And this could be with the regards to the screen size. Maybe it's too small for me to read through. Maybe I need to increase the size of my applications that's in my desktop. So I can have a magnifier that's there, and I can zoom into certain things. And maybe that's a bit more easier for me to navigate through, or I can make it smaller if I would like that to be done.
So if you wear glasses perhaps, and you used to sort of having your specs on to read text on a page, yeah, you can make the text work for your eyes.
Yeah, and you don't have to have a magnifying glass actually being held according to the text, yes.
So Renee, you've really pointed out some great features of a Windows 10 device, but it's really up to the teacher to explore those various features, give it a try, and actually use the device, because from using it, that's where you get comfortable with it. If you perhaps see a colleague doing something cool, you can ask them, what did you click on to get to that? How did you find that app, or where did you look for that feature? And then try it out in your own classroom.
Yeah. And another closing point I would like to make sure of is that when you are done with your machine and you would like to transport it, what's the most important thing is that you would like to either sleep the machine or either shut it down. Closing up the lid does not necessarily mean that the machine shut down. And the fortunate case is that sometimes when you get back to the school and you switch on the machine, there's not enough battery left onto the device. So I would encourage that people shut down their devices when they're transporting it from home to school or from school back to home.
And also sometimes when you shut it down, it needs to run some updates.
That's right.
Run that antivirus software or any new sort of Windows patches that are being pushed to the device.
That's correct. And it's very important that you read the message on the screen that says, please do not shut down or close your machine while the update is continuing.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Renee, for joining us in studio today. I'm sure that you've given teachers some more confidence for using their Windows 10 device and really making the most of it. Look after your devices, take care of them, but most importantly, use them. That's what they're all about, and that's where they can really add to your teaching and learning. Please join us for the next Microsoft Virtual Academy, where we'll be helping you to make even better use of technology in education. Bye for now.